Hello, 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 my amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name. Welcome. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on board with us as we blast off. So everybody hold on to your hats because here we go.
4, 3,
Do it with me. 1,
0.
here we go.
Ignition.
Come
Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes.
We're halfway through the week. Come on. Can't you see the light at the end of the tunnel? There it is. I see it. Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Vaughn Radio. Sing it. Let's go. That's right, folks. It's the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. The only English teaching radio station 24/7, 365. We're here for you. Hey, insomnia has got you up at night? No sweat. No sweat es una forma totalmente nativa de decir, no te preocupes. We've got you covered. Download our free app, and you can learn English with us everywhere and anywhere. Or as Shakira says, whenever, wherever, we're meant to learn together. I don't know if she says we're meant to learn together, but isn't that what we do every day here on Vaughn Radio? Don't forget, you've got amazing programs from the break of dawn, el amanecer, all through the wee hours of the night. Las horas pequeñas, don't you say the same thing? The wee hours of the night. Learn English while you sleep. Hey, maybe it works. Has anybody tried that? You ever put on the Vaughn Radio app or just listen to a podcast and leave it on in the background? Well, I do it all the time. Who knows? You could learn something, even while you're sleeping, with zero effort. Stop making resolutions and start making progress with your English in the new year. We've got something for everyone, every level, every age, every budget. Grupo Vaughn has got you covered no matter what you're looking for. Yes. Whether it be master's courses, group or one-to-one classes, yes, either online or in person. Vaughntown, yes, a true immersion experience. Yes. Disney English and Vaughn Jr. for the kids. Oxford Test of English. Yes. Camps for kids of all ages, online courses, and a wealth of other resources at vaughntienda.com. Stop by one of our centers for a free level test or a sample class from one of our top teachers. Why wait? There's no time like the present. Start the year off on the right foot. You can contact us at our website, grupovaughn.com, or give us a call at 911-385831. And make sure you're following us on social media. Let's get going. Pongámonos en marcha. That's right, let's get going with today's pop quiz. Let's go. Come on. All right. Pop quiz. Now we're talking. Ahora sí. Yeah. Come on. Pop quiz. Yeah. Sing it, sing it, sing it. Pop quiz, 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 quiz. Let's quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. It is our pop quiz only on the show with no name. And as always, the pop quiz is a section of the show where we take a look at something from the Vaughn world. You never know what's going to come up, but you know it's going to be something that helps you, that guides you with your English. Today, we're going to take a look at something from Natural English. It is a resource from the Vaughn Group, Grupo Vaughan. You can pick it up at vaughantienda.com. Also, remember our main website is grupovaughn.com. Take a look at our courses. As you know, we've always got special deals going on. So keep an eye out. I think the best way is following us on social media. You'll know about what's going on. You'll be in the know. Well, this book, Natural English, teaches you how to sound totally native. Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you ready? How many chapters do you think the book has? Did you say 50? Nope. Did you say 100? More. Did you say 110? Nope, keep going. 120 chapters. Are you serious? And it teaches you all the kind of stuff that I love to teach you here in the show with no name. It's a great accompanying material, I think. Helps you with these expressions that you guys like. I like them in Spanish. I get it. And as always, it comes with audio. All of our Vaughn stuff comes with audio. This was also in 2023. Last year, this was one of our top sellers. Natural English. And do you want to know who's responsible for this amazing material? The one and only Ximena Holiday. And you guys are lucky because you can learn with Ximena Holiday every day after this show with Test Your English. What an amazing show by an amazing person, Ximena Holiday. And she wrote this book. It's got tons of audio, as I said, but you'll hear all kinds of different voices in the audio clip. What audio clip am I referring to? The one I'm going to play right now. But if you want more, you can pick up Natural English over at vaughantienda.com. I highly recommend it. It's awesome. Let's listen to a little clip. And then, as always, I've got a mission for you, Show with No Namers. So this is, if you have the book and you want to take a look, this is Natural English, tu guía definitiva del inglés natural. And this is chapter 33.
Chapter 33, when you're being honest or dishonest.
Cuando estás siendo honesto o insincero. 4 key expressions.
To wear your heart on your sleeve.
Mostrar tus sentimientos.
To tell porkies or to tell porcupines.
Mentir.
To lie through your teeth.
Mentir descaradamente.
To tell it like it is. To tell it straight out.
Decir las cosas como son, sin tapujos.
More useful English. False friend.
Molestar no se dice to molest, sino
To bother. Exaggerate. My jaw dropped.
me quedé boquiabierta.
Spit it out.
Dilo de una vez.
Vocabulary. The Tooth Fairy.
El hada de los dientes, Ratoncito Pérez.
Set phrase. To cover your tracks.
No dejar rastro,
Phrasal verb. To fall out.
caerse.
So you know how Jenny tends to wear her heart on her sleeve? She told me today that she was upset about something. At first I took it with a pinch of salt, but then I realized she looked serious.
Oh, really? What was bothering her?
She started saying that she knew that I had been telling her porcupines. I was so confused. She even reminded me that we always tell her that honesty is the best policy, and that's why she was so disappointed.
Uh-oh, sounds like you're in big trouble.
Her exact words were, "Mum, I know you've been lying through your teeth." My jaw dropped when I heard her say that. Talk about telling it straight.
Oh, gosh, Margaret, what had you been lying to her about? Spit it out. You're making me nervous.
Wait, I'm getting there. So I ask her to explain, and she just looks at me and says very slowly, "The Tooth Fairy."
Oh, no, I thought we covered all our tracks.
And then she said to me, "You said the Tooth Fairy won't take our teeth if we haven't brushed them, and that tooth fell out at lunchtime and it wasn't brushed, and now she's taken it."
You've got to give it to her. That's a good point. No more telling porkies then, Margaret.
All right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Some totally native vocabulary. That's right, and it's from Essential English. You should check it out. Oh, excuse me. Essential English is another book. You know why I just said Essential English? Because I've got it here on my desk. Well, I'm pretty lucky. I've got almost the entire, I think I've got it all. Well, I'm missing a few books. Well, you know why? Because Vaughn's always putting out new books, which is good for you because there's always something new to explore at the Vaughn Tienda. So many materials that I just got mixed up. So Essential English is one, and Natural English is the one we just heard from. And we were talking about honesty and dishonesty, you know. Are you somebody who is above board? Above board is franco, you know, you're not hiding anything. I think you would say un tío legal. He's above board, right? Above board, that's a great one. One that I love is to bend the truth, right? It's a way of saying I'm lying. It's like a white lie, una mentira piadosa, I think you say. A little white lie. But if somebody said, "Hey, man, you lied. You said that they were there." Well, I didn't really lie. I was bending the truth, right? It means I changed a little bit of it. I didn't change the whole story there, right? So, and what about you? Are you a trustworthy person? Can we trust you? Do you lay all your cards on the table? Or are you shady? Are you hiding something? Maybe you're crooked. Crooked. We use this a lot when we talk about business. Dishonest. He's a crooked businessman. A crooked businessman. Let's see. To take something at face value. No. A ver, esta no me la sé. I got to look this one up. To take something at face value is valor nominal. A pie de la letra, you say. I'm going to take that at face value, right? Again, these are all idiomatic expressions that have to do with honesty and dishonesty. Fair and square. Que me lo he ganado sin trucos, sin nada. Me lo he ganado, you know, justamente. I won it fair and square. Fair and square. I love that one. All right, well, let's take a look at some that we just heard from that audio. Again, the audio is from, am I going to say Essential English or Natural English? Well, since I stopped, I'll say the right one. Natural English. The first one is, let me see. How would you say this in Spanish? Mentir con malicia. Okay. So we said before there's a little white lie. Una mentirilla. Yeah, a little white lie. I'm bending the truth a little bit. And then there's somebody que parece que todo lo que dice. You know, you can't trust the person at all. La expresión que me encanta otra con confiarse en la gente. I wouldn't trust him further than I could throw him. no me fiaría de él más lejos de lo que le podría lanzar. So, no muy lejos. So, to tell a malicious lie, we heard it in our audio, mentir con malicia. Use it in context, as always. Okay, the next one. The next one is another one, and it's tomar algo con pinzas. Literal translation, I mean, if you wanted to break it down in other words, it's to be skeptical, slightly. I wouldn't creer la mitad, you know? I have my reservations. I don't believe it 100%. So that's the second one. Tomar con pinzas. Pinzas are tweezers, right? Para sacar las pinzas para sacar pelos de la cabeza, right? De las cejas, your eyebrows. And the third one, I want you to fill in the blank. The third one is liar, liar. What comes after that? This is something we've been saying since we were little kids on the playground. Liar, liar. Well, I'm not going to say anymore. You finish the sentence. So the first one, somebody is blatantly lying, right? It's just obvious and nothing of what they say can be trusted. The second one, I wouldn't trust them 100%. And the other one is a way of saying to a kid, te piao, mentiroso, mentiroso. I don't know if you have your own song or anything, but we do have a little thing. Well, I can give you a clue. The third one rhymes. Rima. Liar, liar, Tell me that second part. All right, amigos, and while you're thinking that through, I think I'm going to give you guys the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? All right, folks, Say What soundbite here on the show with No Name. And how can I forget? Today we've got Learn with Lara, Lesson 8. Our 8th installment of Learn with Lara, the section with my daughter where we learn in the purest form of the word. There's no prejudice. We just listen and learn and enjoy it, and we let our imaginations run wild. That's coming up a little bit later on in today's show. I try and tell Lara, too. I'm like, you're on the radio today. And she looks at me like, what? I'm like, what we recorded. It's on. She gets it. But she's still like, but I'm not. I'm like, remember when? Okay, well, that's going to be, Daddy's going to play it on his radio show. She says she gets it, and she does. She does get, she's a sharp one. As we say in English, she's as sharp as a tack. Una chincheta, you say? All right, folks, here's your really tough Say What soundbite. I mean, really, really tough. So good luck, my amigos. I don't think it's going to be easy, but don't worry, we will solve it before the end of the show. Is everybody ready? Jot this down.
It's a griddle. Omelet
Calm
making
down, guys. You're all right. It's my G5 with 5 removable cooking place, so it makes all of your favorite foods, and it knocks off the fat.
Oh, my goodness, folks. Well, I'm going to play it for you again after the commercial break, but, man, this is probably in the top 10 of the toughest ones we've ever looked at. And speaking of tough, let's take a look at our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
That's right, amigos. It's our spelling bee here on the show with no name. And this is probably one of the most challenging sections on the show. And as you know, the first round is the lightning round. I mean, this is like, you got to be a boxer. You got to be Mike Tyson because you could get KO'd in this first round. Now, let's start all of these words with a capital letter for the sake of simplicity. And as always, you're going to hear the words twice. The first round is going to be hellish. I'm telling you, you are going to hate me. Hellish, totally hellish. But I will repeat it a second time at a more human pace. The first word is CESENA. The second word is RIMINE. The third word is FIUMICINO. The fourth one is APENNINE space MOUNTAINS. The fifth one is ADRIATIC space SEA. And the sixth and last one is JULIUS space CAESAR. It's often referred to as the epitome of empire. It's still considered a reference as far as innovation, infrastructure, and ingenuity are concerned. The remnants of their controversial conquests can be contemplated in every corner of the globe, from Corsica to Constantinople and beyond. Hail Caesar! Charge! We'll seize the day and roam around what remains of the Roman Empire on this week's episode of FYI. Welcome to For Your Info.
Inglés.
You got it. All right, so I guess it's got something to do with the Holy Roman Empire, yes. Well, just remember the word is empire. Eso es el imperio. Empire, and el emperador is the emperor. They aren't the easiest words to say, so let's say them together. The emperor is the head of the empire. I think empire is easy, but say this one, emperor, emperor. Folks, this is round 2 of today's spelling bee. We'll see if you guys can get these words that obviously have something to do with the Roman Empire. Here we go. The first one is CESENA. The second one is RIMINE. The third one is FIUMICINO. The fourth one is APENNINE space MOUNTAINS. The fifth one is ADRIATIC space SEA. And the last one is JULIUS space CASAR. Folks, we're going to a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll take a look at that pop quiz. We also have our Say What soundbite. Movies, Double Trouble. Well, I'm not going to list everything we have to do. We've got a lot of stuff to do. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of today's show with no name, midweek. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. Enjoy it. You know, early weeks of 2024. As I said, we got to make every second count. Welcome back. Welcome back. Don't forget, amigos, you can find out more information about all our courses over at grupovon.com. Also on social media, we'll give you information about new stuff that's coming out, special deals that we've got going on, and all that jazz. So join us. And don't just follow Vaughn, follow Kyle, follow me, Follow all the amazing teachers, not just at Vaughn, seriously. It's free. Following people on social media is free. Last I checked. Now, if you want extra content, that's a different story. But it's free, right? As I recommended, I think it was yesterday, pronunciation with Tanya, dos N's. Excellent, excellent. You can find tons of amazing stuff, amigos, my English explorers. All right, we've got a lot to do, so let's listen to our Say What soundbite for the second time. I know it's tough, believe me.
It's a grill. Omelet Calm down, guys. You're all right. It's my G5 with 5 removable cooking plates, so it makes all of your favorite foods, and it knocks off the fat.
Oh my geez Louise, holy cow. All right, I understand that there might be one in there. I'll tell you what, you don't have to, today to get it perfect, you gotta, because there are a couple voices that are overlapping, solapándose, so I get it. All right, but don't worry, we'll take a look at it as we always do. Here it is for the third time.
It's a grill. Omelet Calm down, guys. You're all right. It's my G5 with 5 removable cooking plates, so it makes all of your favorite foods, and it knocks off the fat.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughn Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughn Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughn Town. All right, folks, that's right. Vaughn Town, the ultimate immersion experience. If you can afford it, and believe me, it's worth its weight in gold, because as Richard said, you can go live abroad for a year. You know how much that's going to run you? I can tell you. My niece, Candela, shout out to Candela. She's over in Colorado. She's there for the year. And I believe just like the program, the host family and, getting it all set up, I think that was over 20 grand. Grand means thousand. So $20,000, and that's without, I think, food and stuff. That's without, you got to have spending money and all that stuff. And the United States is not cheap, as far as I know. Last time I was there, I was like, holy shit. Okay, the salaries are a little bit better in general. But it's all relative. It's all a matter of how much is this? What percentage of this is your budget? You know me, I'm not a math teacher. But it's basic math there, isn't it? All right, so Vaughn Town, worth its weight in gold. Seriously, you can go there for a weekend and get what you would get in almost a year because it's concentrated. It's all focused. Half the time my niece is sitting at the house her host family owns by herself. Sure, everybody's got their lives. So the daughter's got to go do her thing. The mother's got to, so she's half the time just there watching videos, something you could do at home. So this kind of Vaughn Town concentrates it all into 1 week, and it is absolutely epic. Check it out. It's Vaughn Town. All right, let's take a look at today's pop quiz, which comes from Natural English, tu guía definitiva del inglés natural, available at the Vaughn Tienda, vaughntienda.com. I see a lot of people figuring it out. Great job. Thanks to everybody who is participating. The first one. Most politicians lie through their teeth. I'm going to give you my examples. Most politicians lie through their teeth. Mienten a saco. They lie through their teeth. We say a través de los dientes. So to lie to it means everything you say is a lie. And usually it's not a good one. You know, like he's lying through his teeth. Algo, you know, piensa escondiéndolo. Como que there's malicious intent there. Whereas a white lie, you're like, well, 12:20, 12:15, who cares? It's a white lie. I told you I got home at 12. I got home at 12:15. Now, if you're a parent and your kid has a curfew, toque de queda, hora que tiene que llegar a casa, curfew, then those 15 minutes are the difference between being grounded, castigado, and not, right? But when you're old, it's like, whatever, right? A little white lie. I told you I got there at 12. I really got there at 12:15. I personally don't like lying at all. I don't like white lies. I can't lie through my teeth. It's hard for me. I was just brought up in a Christian home, de familia cristiana. And you can say what you want about the state of the Catholic Church, all this, okay, yeah. I know. It's not the greatest example. But the values that I was taught came from the Bible, came from religion. So at the same time, I can't really talk bad about that because it's made me an honest, straight shooter, as we say. We've been looking at a lot of expressions today that have to do with honesty and dishonesty and trust, right? All right, the next one is to take something with a grain of salt, or the British say a pinch of salt, which is interesting because in American English, we say a pinch of salt, but we use it when we're cooking. Add a pinch of salt. Add a pinch of black pepper. Sí, ahí sí. But when we say, no sé yo, take it with a grain of salt, we say in my country. And we don't say salt, we say salt. Say it with me. No salt. Salta conmigo. Salt. No, salt. Assault, como asalto. Assault. De hecho, son homófonos. This is assault from the Himalayas, where they assault people. Hey, we're always playing with words here, aren't we? And this third one is a play on words, a little rhyme we had, which I think it's been around since I can remember, and probably my mother's generation. And it's liar, liar, pants on fire. That's right. Como no te creo. Mentiroso. Liar, liar, pants on fire. All right. So great job, everyone. You can find this and so much more in Natural English, tu guía definitiva. Tu guía definitiva. See how we don't edit here? Aquí no hay botón de editar. Tu guía definitiva del inglés natural. De hecho, hasta uso la experiencia para enseñarte la palabra. What just happened? Se me traba la lengua. I got tongue-tied. It happens. But did you know the word? To get tongue-tied. All right, great job in our pop quiz, amigos. But we've got to move on. We've got to check our spelling bee. And I see a lot of people figuring it out. Yeah. Nice job, show with no namers in our spelling bee. And today's spelling bee has something to do with the Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire, as it's called. And don't forget, there are two FYI episodes on the Roman Empire. One that is available to the general public, and one that's exclusively for the English explorers in my community. So, if you like the Roman Empire, which betrayal, incest. No, I mean, it's and it's an interesting story. You can't say you like Game of Thrones or Star Wars or any of that stuff if you don't like the Roman Empire. It's the original soap opera. Diría, ¿no? El culebrón original. 700 years they reigned. The Roman Empire. Well, check out the episodes because we've got a lot of idiomatic expressions that come from Rome. All roads lead to Rome. Well, the reason we took a look at these words that had to do with Rome and Julius Caesar specifically was because today in the year 49 BC, Julius Caesar, I called him JC, we were friends. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon. And what is the Rubicon? The Rubicon is a river. Rubicone. It's a shallow river in northeastern Italy. Northeastern Italy, just south of Cesena. They don't say Cesena there. Cesena. And north of Rimini. And it was known as Fiumicino until 1933. The river flows for around 80 kilometers from the Apennine Mountains to the Adriatic Sea. And that's pretty cool, huh? Well, I just gave you all the spelling bee words there. So the first word was Cesena. The second one was Rimini. Those are the towns where the Rubicon River is located. Fiumicino was the name of it before. Apennine Mountains where it starts. Adriatic Sea where it finishes, where it ends. The source, podemos decir, la fuente, donde nace el río is the source. And number 6 was the man who did it, Julius Caesar. And when he crossed the Rubicon, it signaled the start of a civil war, a bloody civil war. That's right. And now we use this expression in English. I don't know if you use it, Luther. Cruzó el Rubicon. This is when you've reached the point of no return. Ya no hay vuelta atrás. All right, so excellent job to everybody who participated in our spelling bee. That's right. Awesome, guys. We have really kicked off the year to a great start. So let's keep it moving with today's Name That Movie. Name That Movie. That's right, amigos. That's right. It's Name That Movie only on the show with no name. Let's take a look at the movie and see if you guys can figure it out. Here's your trailer. After he finds out that his work superiors host a dinner celebrating the idiocy of their special guests, a rising executive questions the merits of his invitation, just as he befriends a man who would be the perfect guest. Whoa, a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack, as we say. Explicar, entrañar, maybe would be a good way to say that. All right, so let's go piece by piece. After he finds out, este phrasal verb lo usamos siempre, enterarse. How did you find out? No es find out, it's find out. Suena como duda. Find, multa, duda. Find out. That's a fine doubt you have. Es una duda bastante fina que tienes. It's exactly how it sounds. It's another homophone that we're looking at. We've looked at a couple homophones today, and we haven't even done homophones yet. So after he finds out that his work superiors, I love superiors, but you know what sounds even cooler? The higher-ups, los más altos. Los más arribas, right? The higher-ups host a dinner party. Now, to host, let me explain it this way. Host and a guest. Anfitrión y el invitado, right? And the verb to host is albergar, celebrar. So the host hosts a party. Pero también en la tele, you've got, or en la radio, the host, right? And the guest, el invitado. So that's a good one to know because it means two different. And in viruses, we use it con los virus. The host, right? So they host a dinner celebrating the idiocy, idiotez, of their special guests, sus invitados especiales. A rising executive, uno que va subiendo por los rangos, questions the merits of his invitation, just as he befriends a man who would be the perfect guest. So he's like, why am I here? They invited me maybe to tease me, to play with me here. And to befriend is to make friends with. So you can say, he befriended him or he made friends with him. Esas son las estructuras. Es más natural to make friends with. I'll give you it in context. Lara makes friends with kids very easily. She befriends them, right? Uno no tiene preposición. So just as he befriends a man who would be the perfect guest. Great job to everybody who got it. The movie is called Dinner for Schmucks. And what is a schmuck? A schmuck is a word we use a lot in New York. Schmuck. It comes from Yiddish. He's a schmuck, this guy. Yutz, a putz. Son los tres iguales. It's an idiot. Un estúpido. Un inepto. Idiota. This guy's a schmuck. It doesn't even, you know what? It's that kind of word when somebody says it to you, you're like, oh, wow. I don't know what it means, but that sounds bad. The doctor says, sorry, but you're a schmuck. I don't care what language it is. You'll be like, oh, no, I am. Oh, that sucks. So Dinner for Schmucks, the movie came out in the year 2010, directed by Jay Roach. He did Jay Cucaracha, Jay Roach. He directed Austin Powers, also some of the Meet the Parents ones, Los Padres de Él. Well, this one stars Paul Rudd and Steve Carell, and it's called Dinner for Schmucks. It came out in the year 2010. All right, let's take a look then and see the scene that I've chosen for you over here. Tim says, yes, look, there's you and the me that you know. Estamos aquí dos. El tú y el yo que tú conoces. And we love each other. Y nos queremos. And we have a wonderful life. Tenemos una vida maravillosa. But then there's the me, el yo, that you don't know. Que no conoces. And the me that you don't know has to do some things sometimes so that you and the me that you know can live in this nice apartment and eat at nice restaurants and go to Cabo for Christmas. Cabo de Gata? No. Unfortunately, that's not what they're talking about. Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. I think it's Baja California, maybe. Well, Cabo. That when we say Cabo in the United States, that's what we mean. Cabo San Lucas. So the restaurants and go to Cabo for Christmas. He takes care of us. Cuida de nosotros. To take care of somebody. Okay, to look after. Son sinónimos. To look after and to take care of. Que no lo mezcles con to take after, que es parecerse a. So, look after your father. Cuida de él. Take care of your father. Cuida de él. You take after your father. Te pareces a él. So, careful with those three structures. Julie then says, you know what? There should not be any you I don't know. No debería haber ningún tú que yo no conozco. And Tim says, but there is. You might not like him. I don't like him. I hate him. Le odio. But we need him. Pero lo necesitamos. You know, it's like the CIA, como la CIA. We say that, nosotros decimos las tres letras. It's like the CIA. And Julie says, the CIA? Like, please, Elaborate. And Tim says the CIA does some pretty funky, nasty stuff. So funky es raro, nasty es asqueroso, funky, nasty stuff in the shadows. We talked about the word shady before. So if you do stuff in the shadows, you're shady. Makes sense. But I, for one, am glad they're there. Toma, homophones. No hemos visto homophones y hemos visto de todo. Al menos 3 o 4, right? So they're there. Están ahí. They are there. Suenan igual. They're there. And there, de ellos, también suena igual. O sea, son 3 palabras en inglés que suenan exactamente igual. Y son de uso súper común. There, ahí. They are there, contracción. And there. So they're there for their Christmas party. Ellos están ahí para su fiesta de Navidad. Los 3 there deberían sonar exactamente igual. So let me say the sentence again. The CIA does some pretty funky, nasty stuff in the shadows. But I, for one, am glad they're there. And Julie says, the CIA doesn't invite people to dinner to make fun of them. La CIA no invita a la gente a comer para reírse de ellos. We looked at the word to mock recently, right? We looked at the word mock and muck. Well, to mock is to make fun of. They're synonyms. So the CIA doesn't invite people to dinner to make fun of them, to mock them. El mock sin proposición. And Tim says, no, the CIA kills people. And I'm getting raked over the coals because of a little dinner. And to get raked over the coals, this is like I'm getting tortured. I'm getting abuse over here. A ver cómo lo definen aquí. They're making me talk about something that I don't want to talk about. Okay? So to reprimand somebody, es echar una bronca, vamos. To rake somebody over the coals, sobre el carbón. I think if you think about it, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So Tim says, no, the CIA kills people. And I'm getting raked over the coals. Me estás cantando los 40, I think might be a way to say it. You're reading me the riot act. Toma, otra forma de decirlo. Because of a little dinner. Porque por una cenita. And Julie says, can I just ask you something? ¿Te puedo hacer una pregunta? Is there any you I don't know who isn't completely full of shit? ¿Te sabes esta expresión? To be full of shit means you can't trust that person. They lie through their teeth para unir los conceptos de antes. You're full of shit. No te creo. Eres un mentiroso. He is full of shit. No es que está estreñido. He's not constipated. So if somebody tells you you're the shit, molas. They tell you you're full of shit, means they don't believe you. So is there any you I don't know who isn't completely full of shit? I'd love to talk to him right now. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, learning English with movies, with music, pop culture, jokes, and even with my little daughter, Lara. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Are we halfway through the show? Get out of here. Whoa. That was fast. All right, well, folks, you know how this works. We're going to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with Double Trouble, jokes, famous birthdays. We've also got to listen to our Say What soundbite. We'll learn with my daughter and so much more. I hope you guys are learning and laughing with me, and that you'll join us in the bonus part. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the second half of today's show. I hope you guys are learning natural English. Well, hey, that's what book we looked at in our pop quiz today. In this part of the show, we're going to take a look at our Say What soundbite right when we kick off now. We're going to take a look at some jokes as well. I know how much you guys love my jokes. You can't live without them. All right. Yes, you can. You can definitely live without my jokes. We've also got famous birthdays, homophones, which we've already looked at tons of homophones. Name that lyric, Double Trouble. Man, a lot to do here in the second half of today's show. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you're joining us live or you're tuned in wherever. You can listen via the internet if you go to vaughnradio.com. I think the easiest way is via the Vaughn Radio app. But as a podcast listener, I've got to tell you, we are on every podcast platform out there. Every single one. iVox, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Weezer, Teaser, and Leezer. No, okay, I made up. Es que estamos en todas. The Show with No Name, and all the Vaughn Radio programs, like Drive Time with Kyle Miller, or Chris Frank and Frankly Speaking. Those are our latest ones. And also, Speak Up with Ruby. Lots of great shows here on Vaughn Radio. All right, well, amigos, let's get right back into it. We need to listen to our Say What soundbite, and this is a really, really tough one. Here's the fourth and final listen.
It's a griddle. Omelet
Calm
bacon.
down, guys. You're all right. It's my G5 with 5 removable cooking plates, so it makes all of your favorite foods, and it knocks out the fat.
That's right, folks. So, as many of you said, it's a tough one, but I told you, I did forewarn you at the beginning of the show, and I told you it was going to be a tough one. All right, well, my amigos, I know one of your favorite parts of the show is when I tell you some amazing jokes. In fact, some of you, when we have to cut the jokes out of the show because of time constraints, I know many of you go home weeping, llorando. Yeah, I know. It's true. No, I'm joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. ¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
That's right, folks. Oxford Test of English, just one of the many options we have available to help you not only improve your English, but finally grab it by the horns once and for all. De una vez y por todas. Because I know a lot of people throw in the towel. Remember, that expression es muy importante. Because we don't say to throw the towel. It's to throw in the towel. And that's an expression that comes from boxing. In fact, today's jokes have to do with boxing. Let's see if you guys get today's jokes. Have you ever seen the boxer's wife? Have you seen her? You know the boxer I'm talking about. Johnny Jones, great boxer. Well, have you ever seen his wife? Oh, man. She is an absolute knockout. The boxer's wife is a knockout. I didn't say she knocked him out, que le noqueó a él. I said she is a knockout. So what does that mean? Are you familiar with this idiomatic expression? I think it's funny. Have you met the boxer's wife? ¿Le has llegado a conocer? Oh, man. She is a knockout. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's a total knockout. And at home, she has a ring. A ring, un anillo, un cuadrilátero. All right, and what about knockout? I know you know what a knockout is. A knockout punch, noquear a alguien. But what does it mean if I say she's a knockout? Es un bombón. She's pretty on the eye. She's lovely to look at. You get it? Have you met the boxer's wife? She's a knockout. And then I added another one there, improvised, which is they have a ring at home. Tienen un anillo, un cuadrilátero. All right. Here's another one for you. Let's see if you get this joke. How do boxers send messages? How do boxers send messages? Easy. They punch them in. No, they punch them in. No. Well, to punch in is teclear, right? They used to, pum, pum, literalmente darle fuerte. Hombre, es darle un puñet. I'm going to punch in your face. Claro, ahí sí. No, if a boxer says that to you, run. I'm going to punch in your face. But if your boss says, you didn't punch in today, you didn't clock in, es fichar. Punch, porque hace un... It punches a hole in the, and think about it, to punch in or to clock in, same thing, fichar, right? But also to punch in is to enter data, ingresar, teclear. Okay, punch in this information. So you get it now? How do boxers send messages? They punch them in. While they're drinking punch. Ponche. Okay, all right. I got another one for you. Why do boxers make such bad comedians? All right. Why do boxers make, ¿por qué nunca son buenos cómicos? Why do they make such bad comedians? Why don't they make good comedians? Easy, because their jokes always hit below the belt. No. The punchline? No. Guys, that's like 5 jokes in the first 3 jokes. Below the belt. Es un golpe bajo. Sus chistes son un golpe bajo. Below the belt. Piénsalo. Debajo del cinturón. Their jokes are too below the belt. Demasiado cruel. Golpe bajo. Okay, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We've only got one more round of jokes over here, and we'll see if you guys get it. Why did the novice boxer, el novato, why did the novice boxer keep bumping into things in the ring? Why did the novice boxer keep bumping into things in the ring? Porque seguía chocando con cosas en el cuadrilátero. Well, He hadn't learned the ropes yet. No? Nobody taught him the ropes. He hadn't learned the ropes. He was up against the ropes. Wow, that's like 8. We did like 10 boxing puns in the jokes there. So he hadn't learned the ropes. Well, the ropes, or las cuerdas. To learn the ropes comes from sailing. Aprender cómo van las cosas. Pillarle el truco. You'll learn the ropes. Le pillarás el truco. I'll teach you the ropes. Te enseño por dónde van los tiros. That would be kind of the translation. So why did the novice boxer keep bumping into things in the ring? Because he never learned the ropes. Nobody taught him the ropes. And because of that, he's against the ropes. And against the ropes, contra las cuerdas. I think you say the same thing. You can say against or up against the ropes. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my jokes. I know they're not worth celebrating, but there are some people celebrating a birthday. I think we should celebrate that. That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. Let's see if you know who our famous birthday boys and girls are today. The first person was born in 1974 in New Zealand. He's an actor, comedian, and musician. Have you seen Moana, or you call it Vaiana? He plays the crab, Tomatoa. He's one of the funniest characters in the movie. He's also half of the comedy duo Flight of the Conchords. They're awesome. And Brett McKenzie is his partner in crime. Su compinche, his partner in crime. So it's not Brett McKenzie, it's the other one. And I love the song. My daughter and I, my wife, we sing it. 'Cause I'm shiny, like a diamond in the rough. I'm so shiny. If you could ever make yourself sound like a crab, this guy did it. And he's been in many, many movies. Avatar, The Way of the Water, Moana, Despicable Me, which is Gru para vosotros, the Lego Batman movie as well. And he was also in Dinner for Schmucks. Hey, wait, that was today's Name That Movie. Number 2, this guy was born in 1945, a British singer, songwriter. When I see you tonight on a downtown train. Also, he sings Forever Young. You could just go through, I think we could just sit here for 20 minutes and sing all his songs. I mean, if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, or Forever Young. And this guy's got a raspy voice and a spiky haircut. That's a good way to sum him up. A raspy voice and a spiky haircut. And last but not least, this guy has no haircut. Well, he's bald. That's why. And he is a boxer, well, retired boxer now, and businessman. He's very famous for a grill that, well, I don't know if he created it, but he licensed it. And huge dude. He won the gold medal in the 1968 Summer Olympics. And, well, he lost to Muhammad Ali. Well, just to say you lost to Muhammad Ali is pretty cool. You know, Muhammad Ali. Just to say your name in the same sentence and be in the same ring as him. Oh, and his last name is Capataz. Capataz, the person in charge at a construction site. All right, we've got some winners. Today's famous birthdays are Jermaine Clement. Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. If you guys haven't seen Flight of the Conchords, check it out. It's awesome. And he's been in many other movies as well. Check him out as Tomatoa. My daughter, as I said, my whole family, we love him in that role. He's just funny. Number 2, Rod Stewart. That's right, Rod Stewart. And number 3, last but not least, George Foreman. The one and only George Foreman. I have a Foreman grill, by the way. Oh, yeah, I do. I've got the George Foreman grill. And that's going to bring us to our Say What soundbite. This is the infomercial. You say teleanuncio. I forget the word you say. Teletienda. We call it an infomercial. So it's in a commercial, but with a lot of info in it. They used to pretend that we're on a TV show and they have a fake audience. I used to love those, by the way. Teletienda. Oh, man, lots of fun. So it's a lot of different George Foremans. And the first one says, it's a grill. The other one says, it's a griddle. So grill is una parrilla. A griddle is where you make pancakes. A griddle, con dos Ds, una plancha. Okay, una plancha. So it's a griddle, an omelet maker, a bacon oven. Ooh, that's anybody getting hungry? And then he says, calm down, guys. He says to himself, to all the versions of himself, calm down, guys. You all right. Sería, you are all right, pero he was famous for boxing, for getting his head punched. You all right. Todos tenéis razón. It's my G5, es mi G5, with 5 removable cooking plates. 5 platos que puedes quitar, placas que puedes quitar. So it makes all of your favorite foods. Así que hace todas tus comidas preferidas. And it knocks out the fat. Y echa a la grasa. It knocks out the fat. We looked at that word earlier on the show. We know now it means bonbon as well. Let's hear birthday boy George Foreman.
It's a grill. I'm the
Calm down, guys. You all right. It's my G5 with 5 removable cooking plates, so it makes all of your favorite foods, and it knocks out the fat.
All right, my amigos, you know it. You know it. It is definitely our Say What soundbite. It's George Foreman, the one and only George Foreman. And if you guys haven't heard George do his thing, you got to give him a listen, ladies and gentlemen. All right, well, what we're going to do right now is take a look at today's Double Trouble. I want you guys to sing it with me. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. That's right. It is Double Trouble only on the show with no name. Let's take a look at today's Double Trouble. And then we've got to go to a commercial break very shortly. I can't believe how fast time flies when you're having fun here on the show. I know I'm having a blast, and I hope you guys are having a blast as well. All right, here's your Double Trouble. It is un relámpago cayó en su caña de pescar. Un relámpago cayó en su caña de pescar. Oh, wow. I'll give you a clue. I just gave you this person's name, like moments ago. In fact, while you guys are thinking it through, let's take a look at today's Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. Let's take a look at this song lyric and see if you guys recognize the song. And remember, everything is linked over here on the show with no name. So there's always some kind of connection. Que Dios te acompañe por cada carretera que deambules. May the good Lord be with you down every road you roam. Que Dios, el buen Dios, te acompañe. And Rome, we know the word Rome. Hey, we were talking about the Roman Empire before. That's an easy way to remember it. I like to roam around Rome. Down every... I'll sing it. Maybe you'll even know it. May the good Lord be with you down every road you roam. And may sunshine and happiness surround you, envolverte, when you're far from home. I'll never forget this music video. And may you grow to be proud. Que crezcas a ser proud, dignified, and true. And do unto others as you'd have done to you. Eso es the golden rule. And do unto others as you'd have done to you. Be courageous and be brave. Be courageous and be brave means the same thing. And in your heart, no, in my heart, you'll always stay forever young. Forever young. Excellent song. And it's not the Bob Dylan version. Forever young. No, the Bob Dylan one goes, forever young, or something like that. It's a little bit different. I have to be honest, even though I'm a Bob Dylan fan, I love the Rod Stewart version. Nice job. Rod Stewart. The song is Forever Young, Rod Stewart. And we're going to say goodbye to our third part of the show with that song in just a moment. But first, we've got to solve our double trouble. But there's a reason I gave you the other one first. Well, now I've given you two. I mean, I said the guy's name, and now we just looked at like his song lyric. And I see that you guys got it. Excellent. A lightning rod hit his fishing rod. O se puede poner en la voz pasiva. His fishing rod got hit by a lightning rod. Did you know that one? Rod. Well, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the artist Rod Stewart. I know you know him. You might know his songs. You definitely know his name. Well, did you know it's Caña de Pescar? Rod Stewart. So you can just Rod Stewart with his fishing rod, and then it gets hit by a lightning rod. Hey, I know it's absurd, but if you can visualize that, then you'll know those words all the time, my amigos. Excellent job in all the different sections so far. And you know what I've realized? I don't know if we're going to have time for Learn with Lara. I'm taking a look at all the stuff that we still have left. I'd love to do it, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to put the pedal to the metal when we come back. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to sing the song together. So everybody Google the lyrics. Rod Stewart, Caña de Pescar, Stewart. And the song is called Forever Young. All right, let's do it. Beautiful song here. I dedicate it to you and your children, if you have any. May you feel forever young like they do. Like I do. My inner child is alive and kicking. Folks, we'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So, stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to take a look at the Holy Roman Empire. This is the bonus episode of FYI, exclusively for you, Show with No Namers, and obviously FYIers in my community. Hello, enjoy. And welcome to the bonus episode on the Roman Empire. And we're going to talk a little bit about everything in this bonus part. As I said, we could probably do a whole series just on the Roman Empire, or a whole episode just on Nero, for example. But what I've done is decided to handpick some of the interesting stories, some of the things I found fascinating about the Roman Empire. And let's start off with some innovations that we're still making the most of today. There's no doubt in my mind, aside from creating different forms of government, they were architects, they were engineers, and they found solutions to problems. You could say they were problem solvers. What? Sanitation was a problem? Don't worry. They built a series of canals that would take the waste far away from the homes so people wouldn't be swimming in their own feces. And I don't have to remind you how some of the plagues started. So right off the bat, I mean, where would we be without sanitation, without cleanliness, or at least having the technology to divert dirty water or pollution away from us? And we all know these days, sanitation is a huge part of any city. If you've ever been to New York, the sanitation department is huge. Thank you, Romans. And what about aqueducts? They're not only great because they can move water from place to place, but they're also beautiful, aesthetically speaking. And the aqueducts were not invented by the Romans, but they perfected them. They were masters, and they constructed pipes and channels and bridges that would transport this fresh water to highly populated areas, a technology we still use today. And as we'll talk about a little bit later, we've got some Roman aqueducts here in Spain. I know the first one that comes to mind is the aqueduct in Segovia, but there's another one, and we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. And I guess we couldn't mention architecture without mentioning art. A lot of times those two things go hand in hand. Language, which we'll look at later, so many things that come from Latin, although Latin and Greek were the official languages of the Roman Empire. And how about concrete? Hormigón. Yeah, they invented it. They made it from a mix of volcanic ash, lime, and seawater. And what did this do? Well, obviously made their buildings stronger and their construction process easier. And did it work? Well, this is probably the reason why we still see so many Roman buildings standing more than 1,500 years later. And what about newspapers? Did they invent newspapers? Well, kind of. It was the predecessor to the newspaper, and this was in 131 BC. It was called Acta Diurna, and these weren't really made out of paper, is the thing. They were pieces of metal or stone that were available in public spaces for people to read. So think of it like when you used to go to the library and they would have the newspaper there, only it's made out of stone or metal. But the idea behind it was the same, was letting the people know about current events, communication, which was another reason the Roman Empire prospered and another reason it fell. Communication, when it was good, great. When it wasn't, that led to the downfall, as with many other factors. Another thing we owe the Romans for is the calendar, the Julian calendar, which is split into 12 months. It's like the calendar we use today. And if you notice, the sun and the months were named after Roman gods and rulers. Don't forget, there's an episode on mythology with my great friend Damian Moya. If you haven't listened to it, it's fascinating. He totally blew my mind. And what if I told you that the Romans also invented central heating? ¿Qué? ¿Calefacción? How is that possible? Yes, they found a way to heat the homes and heat the different places where they were, the military as well, using an underfloor heating system. I mean, some of the coolest homes I've been to today are the ones where the heat comes from the floor. We're still using that technology. And what about the census? Keeping track of how many people are living in a certain place, statistics. We call this the census. Well, the Romans, they did a census as well, and everybody else followed suit. And don't forget about the Roman numerals. I remember learning these with the Rocky movies. Hey, there's no wrong place to learn. Earlier, we said that we can see remnants of the Roman Empire everywhere. Today, we're going to focus on the ones we can find in Spain. And as I put together this list, I just felt really, really lucky that we have all these places that are still standing and that we can still go visit. There's so much Roman history in Spain. We can't forget about Numancia with Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus. He vowed, prometió. He said, I will level Numancia. I will destroy it after many, many years of being, bullied, being threatened. The people of Numancia committed mass suicide. They said that they would never surrender to these cowards. So that's just one of the many, many amazing stories of the Roman Empire in Spain. I've chosen 10 different sites, but as you know, there are many, many others in Spain and around Spain. Obviously, you can go over to Rome and go to the Colosseum. We're going to talk about gladiators a little bit later. The first place we're going right now is Bailo Claudia. Bailo Claudia. This is near the modern town of Tarifa. And these are beautiful ancient ruins that are on the coast. Absolutely picturesque. If you haven't seen them, take a look. I haven't been in person, but when I saw the photo, I said, I've got to go there. In fact, I've added all of these to my bucket list. The fortunate thing is I've been to the next one, so I can already check this one off. We can say cross it out or check it off the list. And that's the aqueduct in Segovia, an amazingly preserved Roman aqueduct, which is just a feat of engineering. It was built at the turn of the first century AD, and it still stands. It has a total length of 800 meters, and it even suffered damage. I didn't know about this part under the Moorish occupation. Now you can go have some nice suckling pig and a nice Ribera del Duero as you sit at the foot of these Roman ruins. Absolutely awe-inspiring. And I didn't know there's another aqueduct in Tarragona. It's called, fittingly, the Tarragona Aqueduct. And it's the last remaining section of an ancient aqueduct that served the Roman city of Tarraco. Tarragona. I'm learning so much in this episode. Oh, I should tell you that. I didn't know very much about the Roman Empire. I remember studying them. I remember seeing the documentary I recommended, but that was a long time ago. And there's a lot of information. I mean, we're talking about over 500 years of history. Is there really any way to sum up the Roman Empire and its influences and its effect on modern day society? Next stop, Merida. Oh, I've been there. This is great. I can check some of these off my list. The Teatro Romano in Merida. This is gorgeous. It was constructed in approximately 15 or 16 BC, and it was amazing. What am I saying? It was. It still is amazing. You can go there and see a show thousands of years later. Absolutely mind-blowing. And while you're there, you got to stop by the Roman circus. You thought the only Circo Romano was in Rome? No. Move over, Rome. Merida's got one too. This one I wasn't familiar with. There's a place called Empúries. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's in Catalonia, and it's the remains of an ancient Greco-Roman city and a military camp. It is the oldest of its kind found on the Iberian Peninsula. So what you're seeing here is from, the shores of Cádiz to the coast of Catalonia, you've got Roman history everywhere. Wherever you may roam. Okay, bad joke, but that's a great song by Metallica. Wherever I may roam. In that song, we can learn a lot of different ways to say deambulador. Roamer, wanderer, nomad, vagabond, call me what you will. Here's another one I've been to too. Actually, as I go through this list, I'm feeling pretty lucky to have had the honor of visiting these amazing places. The next one is the Lugo Roman Walls, obviously located in Lugo in Galicia, Spain. This is a 2-kilometer wall that stretches around the historic center of Lugo. If you have never experienced this, get a flight, get a train, and get to Lugo ASAP. Oh, and the people are great and the food is delicious. Maybe the north is not your thing. Maybe you want to go more around the south. Well, you can go to Cordoba, and we all know the history that lies in Cordoba. The Roman Bridge of Cordoba was built in the 1st century, and it was described by an Arab geographer, a guy named Mohammed al-Idrisi, and he said it surpasses all other bridges in beauty and solidity. And this was built in the 1st century BC. Oh, I forgot. We didn't see all there is to see in Tarragona. There's also an amphitheater in Tarragona, built in the 2nd century AD. And obviously, you could go there and check out your favorite gladiators. Now the gladiators are soccer players, or maybe I should say rugby players if we're comparing them to gladiators. You still see some blood, but it's not nearly as bloody as it used to be. And we're about to get to gladiators. We just have one more stop. We're stopping at the Carranque Archaeological as well. And this contains a series of ancient Roman ruins built in the 4th century AD. Now, if you're listening, if you're paying attention to the timeline, some things are from the 2nd century, some are from the 3rd. These guys were unstoppable for centuries. And speaking of unstoppable, it's time to talk about gladiators. And yeah, I'm thinking about the movie. How could you say the word gladiator without thinking about Maximus, the Spaniard? Oh, what a great movie that was. Let's start off with a little etymology. Did you know the word gladiator comes from the Latin word gladius, which means sword, espada? And I think everybody knows, anybody who's ever been to Rome or the Colosseum knows that gladiator fights were a popular form of entertainment in the Roman Empire. Gladiators were originally slaves or criminals who trained in schools, and these schools were called ludi, and they would train to become professional warriors. And there were some people who weren't criminals or slaves. There were some people who just wanted to be gladiators. They wanted the glory. They wanted to live on the edge. They wanted to show everybody that they had the guts to survive against a lion. And it wasn't like a soccer match. The losing team goes home. Okay, they might be, sad. The winning team is celebrating. No, here, if you were the loser, you died. It was a fight to the death. They fought with real weapons, and many times people were injured and killed. But I know what you're thinking. Weren't they wearing armor? Yeah, but this armor was more of an aesthetic thing. It wasn't really armor that protected them, but it looked really nice when you were up on that 4th level of the Colosseum. Who cares if it didn't offer much protection? These guys were lowlifes anyway, right? And if you were lucky enough to survive, you would be freed and you could live a normal life. You remember it from the movie. That part is true. If you survived in the arena, you would definitely get your freedom. I know it sounds familiar. Oh, and the word arena, arena, arena. Okay, lo pronunciamos a la americana, arena. Pero ¿qué había en el suelo? Arena, sand. Oh, and sometimes they would flood these coliseums. To flood is inundar, and they would have battles with ships. So, I mean, these were high-tech shows, I guess the equivalent of a Broadway show today. And most of these successful gladiators went on to become celebrities. Do you see the parallels? Let's take a look at a few fun facts, and then we're going to take a look at the downfall. Now, to keep clean, the Romans would go to communal baths. That's right, they bathed together. So they would have these big baths where everybody would get in the tub together. Sounds like an orgy, doesn't it? Well, sometimes I guess it went too far, but other times they were just getting clean together. It was a social thing. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Bath in England, the town of Bath. Do you know why it's called Bath? Maybe you knew this already. I didn't, because there are Roman baths there, and they're there from when the Romans ruled that area. Another weird thing the Romans did was they washed their clothes in urine. Yeah, you heard right. Orina. I know it sounds terrible, but it's because urine contains ammonia. I think you say ammoniaco. And that's an excellent bleaching agent. To bleach is cloro. So, hacer algo más blanco. If you bleach something, you're whitening it. So men used urinals on street corners. And at the end of the day, they collected the contents, the urine, the piss, and they took them to the local laundries where they would wash the clothes. Oh, and remember how I just said blanqueamiento? They also used the urine to whiten their teeth. Wow, talk about sacrificing. I don't know whether I'd rather just have yellow teeth or put urine in my mouth. I don't know. Another interesting thing is it was considered polite to burp. That's right, eructar. And pass wind after a good meal. To pass wind, to fart, to cut the cheese, to let one go, tirarse un pedo. So just imagine it. You invite me to your house. Hey, Alberto, come on over for dinner tonight. I say, sure, that's great. And as I'm eating, I'm like, this is delicious, man. You're like, oh, you really like it? Are you sure? And I'm like, greatest meal I've ever had. And you're like, oh, now he really likes it because he burped and farted. Okay, the Romans were engineers. They were smart, but we don't always do everything perfectly. There's always room for improvement. And that's applicable in your English, too. We talked about Emperor Trajan before. He was one of the 5 loved emperors, and he was the emperor between 107 and 110 AD. And why is he important? Well, aside from being very well-liked, he built what is considered to be the world's first shopping mall. It sold different goods. It sold grocery items. Grocery is food. So aside from the commerce at these markets, these flea markets, que son mercados al aire libre, he decided to build what would be the modern day mall. And I guess I can let the cat out of the bag. We've got an upcoming episode on malls. That's right. We're going to talk about malls in the United States, all over the world. And we're going to hear from my niece who loves going to the mall. She's from Spain. She's a teenager, but she loves going to the mall. So stay tuned for an upcoming episode on malls. It's in the pipeline. Está por venir. And what led to the downfall of Rome? I think, firstly, we should go with the what goes up must come down thing. Right? The whole idea behind gravity. Nothing stays on top forever. Nothing or nobody stays on top forever. But the fall of Rome coincided with a very dark period. It was the Dark Ages in Europe. Some say the official ending of the Roman Empire was 476 AD. But again, it wasn't something that happened overnight. But after 500 years of being the force to be reckoned with, el monstruo de la naturaleza, the Roman Empire was on its way down. And what caused its downfall? Well, let's take a look at it. There are many different factors. If you think about this, rich Romans, the ones who had a lot of money, they were wealthy, they enjoyed eating and drinking. Okay, that's normal. What's wrong with that? Well, they would often get their servants to feed them while they were lying down and relaxing. That is what we call sloth, laziness. And to me, that sounds like the end of an empire right there. But we can't blame the people. But when society wants to eat and drink and wants more and they don't want to move, they don't want to budge, that's not a good sign. It reminds me of the very famous quote, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. Chew on that for a minute. By the 3rd century AD, the empire was just too big. They couldn't manage it. So Emperor Diocletian split the empire in two. Let's see if you know both of those capitals. One of them is Constantinople. The other is, it wasn't Rome. It's modern day Milan. So right there, you had two different lands in the empire ruled by two different emperors. There's another thing that tells you the writing is on the wall. Se ve venir. But don't worry, they were able to reunite again and bring the empire into one. But it didn't last too long. The cracks were starting to show. And in 395 AD, the empire broke apart again. While the East remained strong, the West imploded because of barbarian tribes. Rome was sacked by the Visigoths. That was in 410 AD. And then again by the Vandals. That was in 456 AD. So the western part was just plagued with problems, while the East was able to stay strong for a certain amount of time. Well, a certain amount of time, around 1,000 years. In 476 AD, Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor, was forced to give up his crown by the Germanic barbarian Odoacer, who became the king of Italy. Many historians consider this to be the end of the Romans and the beginning of the Dark Ages. And as I said, the East, well, they managed to keep it together for around another 1,000 years until 1453, when the Ottoman Empire defeated them. The last thing left was Constantinople. Other reasons for the downfall was, well, obviously corruption. The politicians were corrupt. They were ruthless. They were relentless. They would kill their own family. Then you had civil wars, which were breaking out all over the empire because it was so big, it was impossible to control. And as I said, those barbarian tribes, such as the Huns, I'm sure you guys know Attila the Hun, well, they started weakening the Roman army as well until it faded away into what it is today, just a city. But the echoes of that empire are everywhere. Let's take a look at some idiomatic expressions before we hit the road. We already said all roads lead to Rome. Or no, we didn't say that one. The one we said was Rome wasn't built in a day, which means you have to be patient in life. All roads lead to Rome. Well, now we know where that thing comes from. And some Roman roads, okay, they've been repaved, but some Roman roads, many of them, are still in use, the original paths. And speaking of the devil, what? Speaking of the devil, what does that have to do with Rome? Well, in Spanish, you say, hablando del rey de Roma. In English, we say, speaking of the devil, or speak of the devil. Another very common idiomatic expression is in Spanish, donde fueres, haz lo que vieres. Do you know it in English? When in Rome, do as the Romans, or do as the Romans do. But it's so common that you can just say, when in Rome. Another one that comes from Caesar, to cross the Rubicon. When you cross the Rubicon, the river that Caesar crossed, it's the point of no return. And then he said the famous words, the die is cast. La suerte está echada. In English, we say el dado está lanzado. The die is cast. And we say modus operandi, Status quo, agenda, democratic, juvenile, imaginary, sophisticated. These are all words that come from Latin. And we're going to wrap up with one of my favorite idiomatic expressions. I used it at the beginning, but I gave it to you in English. I said, seize the day, which is another one that we say. And sometimes we say it in English, seize the day. And other times we say, carpe diem. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this week's episodes of FYI.